Hello, I'm Moldran, and you know the Hellfire ring got nerfed, and today I wanted to talk about the reasons Blizzard had to nerf this ring, and also about Blizzard things about the nerf or how they explain it in their own words. So now the main reason for the nerf in my opinion was that the ring was actively making the gap between top gear players and average gear players smaller. And by that I mean the top gear players right now that destroy everything, people that you see on streams and so on, they have usually gear worth $5,000 and most of them probably use the real mana auctionhouse to get to where they are now. And average player is someone who either doesn't play, let's say 12 hours a day, or also doesn't spend money on the game. And that player is not even close as good geared as the top ones and is not going to be able to play on high monster powers after the patch. Now, what did the Hellfire ring do? The Hellfire ring would have, as I said before, closed that gap. Like the people, the average gear players of the Hellfire ring still wouldn't be as good as the top gear one, but they would be like closer to them. So let's say if top gear players can farm monster power 10, the average gear players would be able to farm monster power 8 instead of monster power 1. And yeah, that's pretty much the main reason behind it. But you also have to consider that the Hellfire ring would also have opened room for build diversity. And by that I mean, for example, when Blizzard designed the ring, they made it so that when you whirlwind or sprint, it can't proc. So if you are whirlwind barb, you don't benefit at all from that ring except from your auto attacks. And for example, as Barbarian, this would have opened room for build with Frenzy or Cleave, just different builds that put emphasis on different skills, and that goes for every class. Even classes that are considered to be weaker than others right now, like monks, could have viable builds with the Hellfire ring. And now you're asking me, but this is all good, why does Blizzard want to nerf it? You know, there's one guy at Blizzard, JayWilson'ed, and he loves money, and he always wants a little bit more. Now the reason is, if you nerf the Hellfire ring, or if let's say they let the Hellfire ring in the original state, people wouldn't need to spend $5,000 worth of gear to be able to farm monster power 10. They could just try hard a few days to get the Hellfire ring, and then they would have a decently strong character. But Blizzard doesn't want that. Like, Blizzard wants you to pay thousands of dollars to be one of the best geared players, and wants you to force you in the real mana auctionhouse. If there's one item out there, a true legendary that really deserves the name legendary, that makes you really strong, that's bad for Blizzard because people wouldn't use the real mana auctionhouse now. So yeah, that's pretty much the main reason why they nerfed it. And yeah, some people say the Hellfire ring is still great. Like Blizzard said, it's still gonna be best in slot. I don't know, like, who are you kidding, Blizzard? The Hellfire ring has one guaranteed affix, or actually two. One is percent XP, which doesn't matter at all in, let's say, PvP or at 100 Paragon. And the other one is 150 strength or 200 strength, whatever. And then it has 4 random affixes. Did you ever play Diablo and identify items that say you identified rare rings? How many rings do you need to identify to get a good one? Unlimited. And now you know there are indeed some legendaries that have good stats. For example, Immortal King's Helm, Immortal King's Chest, Ice Climbers. There are also items for other classes. And let's for example take the Immortal King's Chest. Why are they always so good? The reason why Immortal King's Chest is so good, because it has 5 guaranteed affixes that are all good. And then only 1 random affix. So for example, Immortal King's Chest, it always has Strength affix, Strength Vitality, plus Armor, plus 3 sockets, and plus High All Resist. Guaranteed. If you get Immortal King's Chest, you'll always have those 5 affixes. And then the 6th affix can either be Vitality, or Life Regeneration, or Dex. And the Hellfire ring doesn't have that. It has 1 good affix, which is the high base stat that you can choose, and then 4 random affixes, which is mostly gonna be Arcane Resist, Gold Pickup Radius, Gold Find, Magic Find. You know, one time you might be lucky enough to get crit, but then you get 3 other bad affixes on top of that. And you'd probably, like, I can tell you right now that 99.5% of all Hellfire rings are gonna be bad. And to call it best in slot, I don't think so. And you also have to consider the opportunity cost. Like that time that you spent to farm all those overbosses and or farm the Infernal Machine and kill the overbosses, you could spend on something else. Like you could just farm Act 3 or Act 1 with high monster power and be much more effective and efficient. Well, yeah. Now, what does Blizzard think about the nerf? The general consensus is that the Hellfire ring should be nerfed. Before the nerf, I would have said as well, it's overpowered, it needs to be nerfed. But most people also think that it got nerfed too much and it shouldn't have been nerfed to make it completely useless. So maybe what happened was that Blizzard wanted to nerf it for 49.75% and then we doubled it. Yeah, it's JayWilson'ed again. Like he decided to nerf it by 99.5% and thought this would be a good idea. But yeah, as I and most of the other players think, it wasn't a good idea and it should have been nerfed to somewhat like 50% or 60 or 40%, something around that, but shouldn't have been completely be made worthless. Like this proc now is actually a stat that you don't want to have on a ring because it's so useless. But yeah, that's not the end of the story. You know, people ask JayWilson'ed about this, what is his thought, like the game director of Diablo 3, and he shared his opinion. See here.
So, let's get back on topic. 11 million subscribers. Are you really going to argue with the Blizzard magic? You're really going to argue with it? You know more about games than us.
Yeah, JayWilson'ed, you are the best.